Hi, and welcome to the Neoprene Playmat. I'm Matt, your host, and this is the weekly roundup. Essentially, every probably week and a half, 2 weeks, no, definitely 2 weeks. I go through kind of what I've been playing recently, different things that have kind of popped up on my radar in the board game world, just things that I'm into, things that have gained some traction. A lot of what I talk about on this channel too is budget and spending your money the right way. And so usually in these weekly roundups, I include a couple things that I'm looking to purchase potentially in the future. And so I start providing that insight here, but go into it more on Spend My Money Mondays. So without further ado, let's get into what I've been playing this week. So to begin with, playing a ton of Lost Cities. I traded with Board Game Co. maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago to get this game, and it's been great. It's been a pickup that both myself and my wife have really enjoyed. Heather, she asks me almost every night if we can play, which is always a good sign. So we get this one to the table quite a bit. We've been playing at least once or twice every day, and it's a great little card game. Essentially, you're going to draw 8 of these cards each, or deal out 8 to each player, which is going to essentially assemble a hand of cards, and you're going to be playing them down to these 5 different expeditions. There's cards numbered 2 through 10, and then there's some wager cards. And essentially, you only want to go on expeditions that you can play a lot of cards for, because you get penalized for every expedition you go on, because there's hardships in every expedition. And so you only have 8 cards to work with, though, so you don't know what you're going to be drawing up. You're both drawing from the same deck, and so you are trying to plan out and maneuver your cards so that you end up being victorious in the end, that you generate the most points, or you had the most significant expeditions over the other player. At the beginning, I was winning a lot. I think Heather's figured it out, though, and so I consistently lose at this one. But we are still enjoying it, and it's getting to the table all the time. Another game I recently got to the table was Raccoon Tycoon. This one, I got the big box with the Fat Cat expansion in it and all of that, that delivered in September, and I've been playing that game quite frequently as well. At least for a bigger box games. The small box games, the card games, they always get to the table a ton. So I think I've played this 5 times now. I played it once at 2 players, and then every other play I've done has been at 3 players. I'm enjoying it. It's probably one of, even though it's more of a maybe a gateway level, maybe a step up from a gateway. It's probably one of my more economically driven games that I own, and it's pretty fun. You get to alter the stock market. Well, I guess it's not really a stock market. It's the price of different commodities, but it can be seen as a stock market. Essentially, you're adjusting the price of these goods so that you can sell them, and then with the money you generate, you're going to get new railroads, which are represented here by these Victorian animals that I love so much. You're going to be spending resources to gain towns, and when you can connect towns to railroads, it's gonna give you some benefits. You're also collecting a bunch of building tiles, and those are going to essentially affect the way you can build out your or essentially how you can get commodities at different rates, and maybe get bonuses off of other players' actions and things. This one is one that I just love the artwork for. I mean, look at this. This cat has a monocle, a top hat, a cane, and he's throwing a coin in the air. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And then this cat, she is so fancy. She's got her pearls and her purse. From the moment I saw the artwork on this game, I was like, man, this is one I have to get. I missed the first Kickstarter. I wasn't really big into Kickstarters when the first one came out, and so it was something I saw in a review by Tom Vassell kind of after it had come out, and it became one that I was really interested in getting, but never really had that opportunity until the next Kickstarter came in. And when that came in, I was like, I gotta go for it. And actually, my brother ended up calling me and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna back that Raccoon game for you." And sure enough, he backed it. He got me the deluxe edition, which was, shout out here to Bobby. But this game came in, and it was funny. He was visiting actually when the game came in, so it worked out perfect. We got to be the first ones that played it together. It's just been a lot of fun. We've been having a good time with this one. Another game I got to play earlier this week was Fox in the Forest. Brought this one up, I think, one other time on the channel, but this is a great little 2-player trick-taking game. If you're not, if that term doesn't ring a bell, trick-taking, it's kind of like your common games like Hearts or things like Spades and maybe Euchre, if you're familiar with that. But this one is only meant for 2 players, which is pretty strange for trick-taking, because usually you want there needs to be more interaction. Otherwise, one person just kind of seems to be able to line things up and win. What's different about this game, though, is all the odd cards have powers. And on top of that, you don't want to win all of the sets or all the tricks. Essentially, if you win too many tricks, you're greedy, so you don't get any points. If you win no tricks or very few tricks, you're humble, so you get a lot of points. Otherwise, you can be victorious or defeated. And being victorious is winning 7 to 9 tricks, which is like that sweet spot. And then being defeated is 4 to 6. The lower, if you're on the lower end of that, so like 4, you get the least amount of points, whereas 6, you get more, but you don't get nearly as much as the person that's victorious. And so there's this constant battle of how many tricks can I win, and trying to decide, okay, they've collected this many tricks. Do I just try and lose the rest and be humble? Or do I go in, do I think I can be victorious? So there's this great back and forth. Here's some of the cards here. But yeah, there's this great back and forth. You're playing cards down, hoping to win just the right amount of tricks. And it always itches the right spot when I get this one to the table. So that's the Fox in the Forest. Now, before we go to this next one, I want you to know this one is coming out to Kickstarter October 20th, and I'm super pumped. As you may also know from Spend My Money Mondays, I've got some of my funds in October locked up. I only spend $100 a month on board gaming things, and yeah, there's a game coming, and I'm wondering if I'm gonna have the budget for it. Now, luckily, it's October 20th, so I imagine the campaign is going to fall into November. This is when the budget gets complicated, because then you start really mixing up the nuance. Anyway, before I go on, let me share the game with you. You may have seen it. It's called Townsfolk Tussle, which it has this artwork is crazy. It's like 30s cartoon artwork, so think like Bugs Bunny and that style, like the original Bugs Bunny, or Mickey Mouse, like the old Mickey Mouse cartoon. But then it's got this twist to it, like this is all blood coming down on the box, and so it's a little bit gruesome, but it's also, playing off this old cartoony feel. What's great too is on their prototype they have it titled the Sneak Peek Edition, and that's actually printed on the box. I haven't seen one in person, but I've watched a couple of reviewers that have pulled it out, and they've pointed that out, and I think that's a great touch, especially from a first-time publisher, which is, I believe it's Panic Roll. That's what it looks like here. And so here's the prototype. As you'll notice, these are standees. In the game that's going to be released, it's they're not going to be standees. They're going to be miniatures, which will be nice. But for prototypes, these are fantastic standees. And essentially, what this game is it's a boss battler. So you're going to be playing you'll be playing different heroes. This is a 4-player game, and you are trying to take out different bosses. I believe the full game is taking out 4 bosses, and I've heard this is KDM, Kingdom Death Monster Light, with a cool theme on it. Doesn't have any of the stuff where you're going back to the village or anything like that, but it certainly has the main epic boss battles, which is something I've always been intrigued in, but I've never gotten into Kingdom Death Monster. The theme is maybe just a little bit too grotesque in my opinion. I don't really mind dark stuff, but kind of walks that line, you know? And then on top of that, the cost to get in and the fact that it's kind of this lifestyle game. I play a lot of different games, and so it's hard to have a game that you just commit yourself to as much as like a Kingdom Death would require of you. And so this is going to be, I think, a really great entry point for me into kind of these boss battlers. I don't have any in my collection, and I'm really digging this theme. Here's kind of a look at what some of the miniature renders look like. So they're still fun. They're animated. They look, you know, like these 30s cartoons. They've got a lot of flair to them. So just really excited about this one. Another update is that Super Fantasy Brawl is going to be delivering here by the end of the month. This is one that I went all in on. I've played probably more hours of this on Tabletopia than any other game. I think I'm somewhere around 18 hours or 20 hours of this played. It's a fantastic 2-player game. You get to take 3 of these heroes, and look at these sculpts. These are great, nice and chunky. I love a big chunky miniature. I don't know why, but when they're big and thick like that, it's just like they have some weight to them, some gravitas, and so holding on to them and moving them on the board just feels really satisfying. But essentially, you're on a hex grid. There's different objectives you're going for, but you can also defeat other heroes to gain victory points, and it's a race to, I believe, 5 points. So I'm really excited. I've been waiting on this one for a while. It's by Mythic Games, and so looking forward to that. And then look at this paint job on this guy. He looks great. I have a buddy that paints miniatures, and so I'm going to at some point send him all of my Super Fantasy Brawl stuff, and he's going to paint them up for me for a pretty inexpensive price. So I'm pretty excited about that. I hope I'm able to get something, you know, I don't know if they'll be like this. This is very, very professional, very good, but I'm really excited to be able to get this one to the table finally. In a physical product, sometimes when you play Tabletopia, you just don't get the full feel for a game. So I'm really excited about these, really excited about the miniatures, and I'm glad this is coming out. Do you have anything you're pumped about? Let me know in the comments. I follow a decent number of Kickstarters. I know Tidal Blades is coming out soon, even though I didn't back it. And there's a bunch of other things that are out for delivery now, kind of after all those COVID delays. So let me know what you're most excited about in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it and love to dialogue with you. Other than that, have a great day. This has been the weekly roundup with the Neoprene Playmat. See you soon.